Welcome back, true believers and all you vicious Venom fans out there, to another Venom related video. Now, I'm kind of feeling a bit under the weather right now, so don't expect a lot of editing to be in this video, just maybe a couple pictures here and there, but not really a lot of audio dialogue that's going to be shifted around because I'm not really feeling too well to edit a lot of things. So this is just going to be a very raw, very unedited type of video, so just bear with me. So basically, I've been thinking a lot about the Venom movie recently, of course, and the kind of consequences that Sony have kind of put themselves into and the kind of repercussions that Sony has to deal with after the Venom movie releases, and the actual possibility if it turns out to be a good movie. What if Venom actually turns out to be a really good movie? And you could say, well, Evan, if it turns out to be a good movie, we have nothing to worry about since it's going to be great. And it might be a really great performance from Tom Hardy, the special effects are going to look awesome, the story might be really well written, and the dialogue and the exchanges between Tom Hardy and all the other characters, like Riz Ahmed's character and Michelle Williams' character and Woody Harrelson's character, they're all going to be great. That is true if it does turn out to be a good movie. However, the problem is that what happens afterwards. What happens if this movie is a financial success as well as a critical success? And to further this point, fellow Spidey Squad member ELT Network did a great video talking about the problem that the teaser trailer has with Venom, and he did a great job analyzing it in and out, and definitely go and watch his video because he did a great job. And that got me thinking, how is this going to be impacting Venom as a whole for fans and critics and Sony and also Marvel? And the first thing is the MCU. So the MCU, of course, is this really well-established brand of Marvel movies and Marvel characters that we've been, growing up with and growing with their stories ever since 2008 with Robert Downey Jr.'s first ever Iron Man movie. And now, with Spider-Man entering the MCU from Captain America Civil War in 2016, we have this brand new take on Spider-Man, which everyone seems to be loving a lot, with Tom Holland and him interacting with the Avengers within the MCU, which is great. Now with this, even though I'm actually really looking forward to this movie, the problem is what is going to be happening if this movie does turn out to be a success. Does that mean that Venom is going to keep getting Venom sequels? Like, oh, look out for Venom 2 in 2020, look out for Venom 3 in 2023, or something like that. So it's going to be really odd to see how that goes, and who is Venom going to be fighting, and also what is the story is going to be creating in the future of these movies. And it's just going to be a really weird predicament for Sony and Marvel to kind of deal with. And it also goes with what we know for sure is that this is going to be a Venom movie where Eddie Brock is the main character. However, it's still a rumor, it's still up for debate, it is still unknown whether or not this is connected with the MCU or not. It would be very, very smart if this was connected to the MCU. However, what we know for sure right now, it is not. So who knows, by the time the movie comes out, it could totally be in the MCU, and that could be awesome. But for right now, we have to assume that it is its own standalone thing, and that causes a lot of problems, because what we've seen in the movie so far from the teaser is that the symbiote appears to be an alien life form that attaches to a spaceship that crashes onto Earth, just like in the 90s cartoon where J. Jonah Jameson's son, John Jameson, takes the symbiote life form from Mars, I believe it was, and he takes it to Earth, and then his shuttle crashes, and then it gets to Spider-Man, which then allows the symbiote to gain Spider-Man's powers, and then the church bell sequence happens, and then the symbiote goes on to Eddie Brock, which then their rage for Spider-Man, their hatred for Spider-Man forms into Venom. And that's a great storyline. So with this, if Spider-Man's not in this movie, and we're just going to get a new take on Venom and Eddie Brock, which seems to be morphing together a lot of different origins from different comic book series, like the standard Venom comics, or Anti-Venom, or Agent Venom, and also with the symbiote possibly not even being shown to Spider-Man yet, or even interacting with Spider-Man in the first place, and just being inputted into Eddie Brock. That's going to be really strange if it does turn out that this movie is in the MCU, and then if Infinity War, if they try to tease the symbiote, it's going to be really weird how they can try and go back from that if it does turn out to be an actual thing, where Tom Holland's Peter Parker turns into Black Suit Spider-Man. That would be incredibly cool to see. However, since they're already doing this Venom movie, it's going to be hard for Marvel and Sony to try and cooperate and try and handle out the stories with each other back and forth, trying to do these stories in a very connected manner. So it seems really complicated, and I hope that they can just do it in a proper way that makes it so that the stories connect if it does turn out to be in the MCU. However, if it is just its own standalone thing, this brings us to the second problem, which is Sony continuing to do these spin-off movies. So again, if Venom turns out to be a great movie, Tom Hardy does an amazing performance, the special effects are awesome, both fans and critics love it, what happens? Well, Sony will go on to make even more spin-off movies, like what we're having so far with Silver and Black. And people are thinking, oh, Silver and Black Black's not going to happen because it's not really shown who the actresses are who's going to be playing Silver Sable and Black Cat. Well, the Venom movie already has a teaser trailer, and there's a news report that's saying that the casting announcements are imminent for both Silver Sable and Black Cat. So clearly Sony is going to be continuing their own spin-off movies of Spider-Man characters, and that really is concerning because if this movie does do well, if Venom does do well, we're going to be seeing even more spin-off characters, possibly the Sinister Six movie, which was canceled after the failure of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. They might just go and bring that back after Silver and Sable and Black Cat do their own team-up movie of Silver and Black, and if that turns out to be a good movie, Sony will see that as an avenue to try and make even more Spider-Man spin-offs and more Venom movies, which is going to be really weird if they're not in the MCU. That is the biggest problem if this is not in the MCU. I'm still very excited for the movie. It may be a really cool movie, but again, the problem is if it's not connected to the MCU, it's kind of really strange to see how that goes down. And the final problem that I have, if this movie does do well, the general audience is going to be very confused if they don't see Venom in another Marvel movie like Avengers or another Spider-Man movie if it's not connected. So if people go into the Venom movie, seeing Venom, seeing Tom Hardy as Venom in a really awesome way, and they think the movie's great, and they say, wow, that was a great representation of Venom, I can't wait to see him fight Spider-Man. If it is connected to the MCU, if that is a possibility. But if it's not, then that's going to be a huge problem for the general audience members saying, wait, why is Venom not appearing in Avengers Infinity War, or Avengers 4, or Avengers 5, or Spider-Man Homecoming 2, or Spider-Man Homecoming 3, or whatever the future Spider-Man movies are going to be called? They're going to be wondering, where's Venom at? Because I love the Venom movie, and I love Tom Hardy's portrayal of Venom, and I can't wait to see Tom Hardy go against Tom Holland, even though it makes no sense since Tom Hardy is way older than Tom Holland, and it'd be weird if a teenager is fighting an adult Eddie Brock, teenage Peter Parker fighting adult Eddie Brock. That'd be really, really weird to see. So that is the further problem. If this is actually connected to the MCU, it's already off to a weird start since Eddie Brock and Peter Parker are two totally separate ages, and it wouldn't make sense for Peter Parker to be fighting an adult with the symbiote who's Eddie Brock, who doesn't have a connection with him at all, if they are doing him in another way where he does have a military background, he does have cancer, and he is a journalist. How is that going to be implemented with Peter Parker, who's just a teenager who goes into high school and obviously eventually fights Thanos in Infinity War, which is going to be crazy. So hopefully Sony and Marvel can work this out together in a proper way. I really do think that if this movie was to be connected to the MCU, this would be the best possible decision for Marvel and Sony to make. If this is its own standalone thing, and Sony are creating their own standalone spin-off Spider-Man movies, this is going to end into a really weird result that may have a lot of fans divided, saying, oh, I love the MCU more, or other fans possibly saying, you know what, I like the Sony movies more with Spider-Man villains, and I can't wait to see Silver and Black, and Venom and Carnage in a sequel to Venom, and I don't know how that's going to work, so it's going to be really weird to see how that plays out. I just hope that this is for the best, and hopefully if this does turn out to be a good movie, I hope that Marvel and Sony can actually work it out together and try and see what their next game plan is, and hopefully Kevin Feige can talk to Avi Arad or Matt Tolmach or whoever's in charge of the Venom movie and just say, hey, you know what, maybe if we were to get Spider-Man in the MCU, like you guys allow us to get Spider-Man in the MCU, maybe we can do the same thing for Venom and all the other possible movies that you guys make related to Spider-Man characters like Silver Sable and Black Cat, or Carnage, or Morbius, or whoever's going to be turned to another villain movie of sorts. It's going to be a really weird situation, and I just hope that Marvel and Sony can both work it out. But anyways, guys, I know that was a lot of me rambling. I'm sorry, but I'm just not too feeling well to do a fully edited video. But don't worry, this video that you're seeing on screen right now will be edited and will hopefully come out either tomorrow or the day after, so just stay tuned for that. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay vicious, Venom fans. Peace out.